Hi there, and welcome back to the FFS podcast. Welcome back to the MWF series. This is episode number 11. And for this particular episode, we're going to be talking or reviewing rather the game between Borussia Dortmund and Bayern Munich, their Klassiker or their Klassiker, however you want to pronounce that. And it's the biggest game, I suppose, in German football, in German modern day football. I'm pretty sure there are bigger derbies which have a bigger historic significance. But in modern day football, in the current era, these two giants, whenever they face off, there's always goals galore, there's always controversy, there's always banter, and we couldn't let that be. We had to be here to cover that. And to help me cover this, we've got Shezad, who's a Bayern Munich supporter. He's been on the podcast many times before, and I'm glad we could have him back on here. And we've got an FFS newbie in Pratik, who is a Borussia Dortmund supporter. He's also part of the Dortmund India group, which is a huge group. Their socials, I mean, you can check them out on Twitter, on Instagram, everywhere. So they're called the Yellow Wall India group. Huge ass community of Borussia Dortmund fans in India, and yeah, you can go check that out. And I am here to help moderate this particular game. So, guys, welcome to the podcast, and let's kind of rewind the clock back now. 2 hours before the final whistle was blown, the buses were coming in, team sheets were announced, and Pratik, I want to ask you with regards to first the team sheet, any sort of surprises there, and second, how are you feeling going into this game?
Okay, so the team sheet, in if I want to talk in the context of team sheet, I didn't find it surprised because it was known that what lineup Marco Rose used against Wolfsburg. I guess it was almost the same lineup. Only difference was Holland was back in starting 11 and Marlene was in the bench. It was pretty much same lineup, but yes, the formation was changed a little bit. Like it was 4-2-3-1, Bellingham on the left wing. But I didn't find it surprising because if when we will talk about the game, we will see that Rose made the correct decision regarding that. So yes, and Dortmund were pretty much confident going into this game because irrespective of their form in Champions League, they were pretty yes. Yeah, we will come to that. They were pretty much good in the league, despite
Okay.
Marco Rose up to the point of their Klassiker didn't have a fully fit squad. Yet,
Right.
we were yes, we lost unexpectedly a couple matches, but still we were a point behind Bayern. So yes, the vibes were good. Dortmund were confident, and obviously, even though we had only 15,000 fans, it is still intimidating the way they cheer, the way they make noise. So yes, that was the pre-match vibes were good.
Okay. And Shazad, the same sort of question for you.
So I first of all, with the amount of injuries that we had, to be honest, there were doubts with Leon Goretzka going in with his kneecap. So I was anticipating whether he might. There was a rumor, not a rumor actually. Nagelsmann came out and said that he might consider playing Jamal Musiala. So I was curious to see what happens there. However,
Okay. Interesting.
Goretzka started, and there weren't really any surprises with the starting lineup. Now, to be honest with you, I went into this game clearly anticipating a loss because I haven't been too impressed with the way Bayern has been playing, due in large part to their formation.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess we'll get into that a bit later, obviously, in more detail. But yeah, I actually had no confidence going into this game. And I thought this was, and I'm not rubbing it in, but I genuinely thought this was Dortmund's best chance to kind of to beat us and, go on top of the table.
Okay, fair enough. Now we move to the game, and no one wasted enough time because it was Dortmund who took the early lead, courtesy Julian Brandt. And Pratik, that early goal goes in. Your thoughts when that goal goes in terms of, do you see it be like, okay, I mean, this is our opportunity. We can win this, or too early, good goal, great that we're leading, but I mean, this is Bayern Munich. We need to take them out. We need to ensure that we don't concede early.
Well, to be honest, actually, I was thrilled when Julian Brandt scored. Like that man is in a form of his life ever since like he came back from the injury post COVID, I guess. He missed also 1 or 2 matches after returning from COVID, and the goal was beautifully created. And yes, we were happy because I guess with the exception of being the last season, we usually performed against Bayern pretty much well, at least at home. Yes. So yes, I was thrilled, but I was like, okay, we got the goal, we deservedly are in front, but now let's balance in a defensive sense also. Yes, 1-0
Okay.
lead is good. Let's maintain, build on the pressure, and then score another goal if possible. So yes, that was my reaction when Brand scored.
Well, that that didn't last too long because I don't know. I mean, okay, Shezad, before we get to that, like, did you think as well? I mean, you already went into this thinking that this was Dortmund's best chance, and then they get the early goal. Did you go like, told you so, kind of expected that, or what were your reactions for that first goal?
Brady, am I allowed to drop F
Yeah,
bombs
yeah,
on
yeah,
here
yeah, yeah,
within?
yeah, 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 yeah,
Okay.
of course.
So the context of me asking was I was watching the game at our local club, our Bayern club's bar here in Toronto, and I actually had a friend from Bombay who's moved. He was also a Bayern fan. And as soon as that goal was scored by Brandt, I remember turning around, looking at him, and saying, "Well, fuck, here we go. It's done. Like these guys have already scored." And and again, I'll get into this into a lot more detail later. But part of my frustration also was, because of formation we have and the defense that's been exposed. So I was just like, well, this is a prophecy fulfilled, because all the pregame chatter at the bar as well that I was having at least was about that, about how vulnerable we are defensively. So this just kind of reaffirmed it. And as I said, I looked at my friend and I was like, well, this seems like this may be it. So yeah.
All right. Okay. It wasn't too long after that Hummels decided that he kind of maybe still had some loyalty to Bayern because I don't know what he was doing for that, what he was defending or what he was doing during that goal, but it bounced. I think Müller had a very good layoff. I don't know if he thought it was a layoff. I think he just tried to get the ball away from Hummels, then he could try and get the ball. But Lewandowski, the striker that he is, stole the ball away and decided to equalize. And Pratik, if Shezad said, fuck, here we go again, when Dortmund scored the opener, was that the similar sort of reaction that you had when Lewandowski scored the equalizer?
Well, I was like, as soon as Lewandowski equalized, I was like, damn, story of our life. Classic Dortmund defense. Like that's yes, our defense has been shaky. To be honest, in my opinion, the game was like what we could call a chess match, like
Yeah.
to and fro, to and fro. Like within seconds we were in front, within seconds Bayern were in front, and our defense has been inconsistent. Like despite the fact that yes, we were
That's
in a
one
good
really
position in the
fast
table.
chess match, though.
Can I add something? I'm sorry.
Yes.
This was one chess match by two players who don't know how to play chess. That's how I felt about the game, to be honest.
Yes. No. I agree on you because actually nobody cared about defending. We both cared about attacking.
Yeah.
I guess so. Yes, it was pretty much like that. So yes, I don't know. I wasn't angry because our defense has been like that so far. I won't say what happens ahead. We will see. But so far it was like shaky. Yes. So yes. So my reaction was like that.
Okay. All right. I mean, there are a lot of goals to talk about, but I want to talk about the second goal, which is kind of a killer because this comes just before, or kind of just before halftime. Which minute was it? I think was it the
43rd
40th?
or 44th
40
minute?
yeah,
43rd or 44th, I guess.
Yeah, so one of that. So it's I mean, not the ideal situation. The ideal situation was to be 1-1 at halftime, go in, you're equal,
Yes.
come back out. It was Koeman's goal, and I think for him to have that, I think as a Dortmund fan, and I want to know if you agree with this. If I was a Dortmund fan, the last person I want standing at the goal line is Guerrero, who's 4 foot nothing, trying to head away a bouncing delivery or bouncing shot. And I just want to know, because even if he headed it with all his might, there was no way he was going to get it above the thing. With his height, there's no way that's happening. I mean, that was that's like bowling, like a bouncer at someone who is pretty short, knowing that they're not going to be able to reach it or do anything much with it.
Yes, no, basically, yes, like you said, we gifted that second goal. It was unnecessary. Like also Patrick Ogumoyola mentioned in the commentary that he should have just cleared it. There was no need to be headed. I mean, yes, that's a later thing that yes, Koeman took a shot and it deflected off Hummels, but the first mistake was from Guerrero. He should have just kicked it. It would have been a normal throw-in, and then at the halftime it would have been 1-1. So yes, second goal was like unnecessary. We just like provided on a platter to them.
Can I chime in on that goal as well?
Go ahead.
So ironically, if you ask me, all three of our goals came up of fuck ups, right? And of course, the biggest fuck up being the last one, which I'm sure you'll touch upon later. But I remember going into that, and I sound like I'm being pessimistic about this entire game, but I truly was, because I just wasn't enjoying the flow of Bayern up until this point. And the problem I have is and I'm not being that arrogant, but if you're a Bayern supporter, you're also thinking about the Champions League and the subsequent games in February coming up, because you have qualified, to be fair. And what I'm not liking is I'm looking at these games and I'm saying, well, the flow of these games, if we play like this against, let's say, your Liverpool or, Chelsea or whoever, we are going to get slaughtered. So I wasn't enjoying it. And then comes this goal where it's off another fuck up. And correct me if I'm wrong, but this was Rafa Guerrero trying to clear the ball. And I think he literally almost hit Hummels in the nuts, and the ball ricocheted off and reached Koeman. And I think that's why Guerrero was trying to, kind of make up for it and whatever. But it was just another broken play. And I thought that's another thing that irks me about modern football, is the fact that players, sometimes defenders, just in these situations, they need to just be calm and clear the ball instead of, and I think Rafa was in two minds. He didn't know if he had to pass it to Hummels or whatever. And, I think later in the game, while Dortmund was behind, and I think we had 10 minutes in extra time and all of that, you saw Dortmund trying to build up from the back and almost give up the ball. And it irks the hell out of me, because it's you who needs the goal. Why are you trying to have this intricate build up from the back? It just didn't make sense. And I think this was another instance where, they tried to get too cute before halftime, and it cost them. So,
I think the perfect term is being too cute, and that's the case with a lot of teams. It's not only Dortmund. We get caught out at playing like that. City do get caught out sometimes playing like that. Where I guess it's at sometimes when you are being pressurized, the simple way is to play route one football and hoof it up and clear your chances. I mean, clear the ball. That's your number one job as a defender, is to make sure that you don't start creating issues for your backline or give the opposition goals.
Yes.
And so,
one of our legendary Bayern coaches who, he's just retired, but the Tiger. So I believe he's gone with Hansi Flick, or he might be assisting him. I've kind of lost track of that story. But anyways, he had a good point. He said that modern day football, the issue is that players are not being taught how to dribble or different ways. There's a excessive focus on just passing the ball and this and that. So I mean, this isn't surprising, because if you don't practice certain situations and how to get out of them, well, you aren't prepared for it. So.
Exactly. All right. So you go into halftime, and Pratik, I want to know what do you think Rosa would have told his team at that point? Like, you going in with a 1-goal deficit, it's hard because you've conceded out of nothing. You've conceded a stupid goal just before halftime. So what happens then?
Okay, so but obviously only Rose would know what he said exactly. But as we knew before the game, he basically before the game also he decided to have 2 meetings. One meeting specifically for Bayern. So yes, I guess so. During the halftime, he would have just said to the team that we are playing pretty much good. Just maybe stay calm at the back, don't be shaky, and don't give opponents the chances when how should I put it? They are not able to create. For example, if we take the match against Sporting,
Yeah.
his post-match comments, he literally said that like it looks like it is easy to score goals against us because
Mhm.
like we are presenting up opportunities. So he
Yeah.
might have told the same thing: maintain the intensity, but like don't give them unnecessary chances. Like
Right.
yes, when they are not getting, why should we like give them? And like I guess it paid off. And 3 minutes into the second half, Erling Haaland like scored a beautiful goal.
I mean that was definitely, I think, the
Uh,
goal of the game. I think that was as much as I really loved
yes, and
the poacher instinct of Lewandowski for the first goal. I think the second one was just pure class, and
yes,
I don't know. I think it was Upamecano who kind of
yes,
misjudged.
Upamecano didn't clear properly, I guess, and Jude Bellingham did
Yeah.
a like back heel assist or sort,
No,
I
no,
guess.
I believe Mr. The usual suspect, Mr. Benji Pavard, was, he was just hanging around there and didn't really. He should have approached Haaland with a little more aggression or changed the angle, but the dude was just, floating around there with Mr. Upamecano, who didn't have the greatest game as ever. So, yeah. But
Right.
great finish by Haaland, for sure.
Yeah. Definitely. And it's nice to see both Leva and Haaland scoring. It's nice to see both the strikers have a good day at the office in a way. But let's talk about the goal, and then we come to the penalty decisions and the refereeing and all that a little while later. I don't know what. I mean, Hummels must have just had a rotten day, or he just wanted to show us that he has some sort of loyalty to Bayern, because I don't know what he was doing defending that corner with both arms in front of his head. It didn't feel like he was pulled. You didn't feel like he was. I don't know what he was doing. It didn't feel like he was stumbling forward. I don't know which part of the coaching manual they teach you to put both hands in front of your head and start trying to clear the ball that way. Pratik, try and explain that for me. If how does one defend like that?
You mean the build up to the third goal, like which led to the third goal? You mean to say?
No, the fourth. I mean, Bayern's third goal.
Yes, Bayern's third goal.
Yeah.
No, see, actually, yes. Like I have seen the video like 2-3 times. Maybe that's what I think. I might have to see it again to see whether I am right or not. But I guess when they were defending the set pieces, I mean Dortmund, I guess there was a unintentionally, of course, Muller's hand was there on Hummels. Like obviously he was also getting ready to take a shot. So and basically, I guess maybe Hummels was protecting his head from Bellingham from colliding. I guess that's what I think. The way his hand was there. No, see, the question is, it's not because whether penalty should be given or not given, but the same courtesy should have been given to that second the Royce case, the Royce and Lucas Hernandez case.
Could I
Yes.
chime in on that as well?
Yeah.
You'll be surprised with my answer. I thought that penalty should not have been given. And I'll go to a certain extent and say Bayern did not even deserve the win, to be completely honest with you.
Wait. Why didn't you think the penalty wasn't deserved? Like, why? I mean, it's clearly hit his hand, and he's.
No, it did. And I get that okay, let me put it this way. By the rule book, I suppose it is a penalty, right?
Yeah.
I just don't like the fact that when you watch it in real time and when you play the actual sport, I mean, as you know, I think the other gentleman was right that Hummels did get shoved by Muller. He was kind of sandwiched in between. And his head, see, here's my problem. His head was down. He was not watching the ball, and I get that. So I don't think it was intentional. It was just a consequence of the shove. And I don't see that as a penalty, plain and simple. And yes, I agree that I get that the Dortmund fans were irked with Marco Reus not getting the penalty on Hernandez. I believe it was deemed an offside and something along those lines. I could be wrong. I could be getting events mixed up. But, there was a bit of a shove there and they didn't call it. But to be honest, even if I put that aside for a second, this in isolation itself, I personally thought should not have been called a penalty. To be very, very fair. I mean, I'll take it as a Bayern fan. I'll take the 3 points. But believe me, I wasn't very thrilled when I saw it. I mean, my first reaction was, WTF, this is not in. If you see, I'm also a believer, Pradi, and I get that, there's been a lot of discussion about VAR. And I actually read about Felix Weyer, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly,
Yes,
the official.
correct.
I read his interpretation of the penalty as well. And I get what he was saying. So I'm not saying that this was some a lot of people have put out there that it's a grand conspiracy and all of that. But I think there needs to be some practicality there as well. And practically speaking, I believe he was sandwiched in between two players. He got shoved. His head was down. So I
Yeah.
kind of, to me, and listen, I also believe as an official, you have to look at the context of the game and the time of this game. I just felt that it was way too harsh, if you ask. And I'm a Bayern fan saying that. So
now I agree with the fact that it wasn't intentional, and yes, those are sometimes too harsh to give when you don't intend. Your arms are not exactly, making a movement towards stopping a ball from being scored or pushing the ball away from the opposition. So that way it wasn't a usual penalty. But unfortunately, like you mentioned, the rule of the law is it's not as much as he was probably trying to cover, like Pratik said, trying to avoid something. It's not a natural position of the
Yeah,
arms.
like
And
it looked like he might have like collided head on with Bellingham. So maybe he like avoided that. Yes.
Yeah, I guess so. So, but unfortunately, the law is such that we are taking any sort of handball, any sort of touch on, and it's not a natural position. That's the way the game is, unfortunately, depending on which side of the fence you're standing on. But the Royce one, I thought was it.
No, it was.
It did feel like Hernandez did sort of get him.
It was definitely a penalty, and Zoyer even confirmed like there was no offside issue. He said that he thought that there was no legitimate too harsh contact. That's why I didn't give the penalty. He basically cleared it.
And I believe Pratik, correct me if I'm wrong, but Haaland post game also said that he called him an arrogant prick and said that he didn't even want to check upon the players asking him. The guy literally said, "Oh, there's no need for me to check." And again, if the Hummels thing was given as a penalty, then this definitely, and it's again, guys, it's really weird for me to kind of defend Dortmund here. There's no love lost, but I have to be objective and fair. I'm going to call it like I see it. I just thought that Dortmund got the shot.
No. We are just rivals, but unlike not in Syria, we are not enemies. Bayern Dortmund, yes, we are just on pitch rivals.
No, but I can't understand why he did not go to VAR or because at the end of the day, I don't know how is it the referee who calls for the VAR or is it the VAR? I think it's the officials themselves who should say that there is something wrong, and rather than I can imagine Alan going to the referee and saying that, why don't you go to VAR? But technically, it's the VAR officials who should tell the referee that, hey, you missed it. But the added fact that he actually said there's no need to do that, that's a separate. That's a crazy comment to be made.
I believe the additional, and again, I may be wrong about this, but the additional explanation given was that I think by him that he was in a better position to view that play, and the other play he wasn't in a good position, so he leaned on VAR was the explanation given. But I totally agree with you that, and I believe in the previous I believe the Manchester United Arsenal game on Thursday, where they initially didn't give a certain goal. I forget what it was. Fred knocking into De Gea knocking into Fred or something, and that was a goal.
Yeah.
It was after a certain time that the official was told, right, or the referee was told by the officials that you need to review this. So I don't understand to the life of me why this wasn't done here. And I just, again, for me, it kind of pissed me off because it also, it takes away from the actual contest, and we are, talking about refereeing decisions, which, to be honest, I hate doing. So
yeah. But okay, another decision that we probably need to just quickly talk about is the Rosa sending off, right? What was that about? Did he contest the decision? When was that?
As of now, I guess they haven't contested yet. But
no. But why was it? Because Rosa said something to the referee or something.
He said first he complained like the Royce decision. He said it was a penalty. Why he didn't check with the VAR? So he then gave yellow. And then the Hummels, handball happened. Then he also was aggrieved. Then what the hell is this and all? He sent him off. And René Maric literally lifted him up from behind and put him in the technical area. Just calm down. Like it was looked like a bar fight. Like René Maric literally lifting him off the ground and you go there, man.
Yeah, I thought that was the most amazing visual of the game.
Yeah,
Pratik, I don't know who that coach or whoever was, but he was
yeah,
lifting Marco Rosa off, and Marco Rosa was heated. He almost like he just shoved that guy off of him as well. He was like, "What the hell are you doing?" But
yeah,
I
yeah,
commend
yeah.
Marco Rosa for not going on the pitch and literally punching the officials at that point. And keep in mind, I just wanted to add something else.
Yeah.
This game had a lot of hype to it, and the Bundesliga obviously is trying to market itself better in the US and all of that. And you had an ad for it on Times Square, the Klassiker on ESPN
Yes,
and
Oh,
all of that.
wow.
correct,
So
Okay.
correct.
yeah, it was on Twitter. It was posted on Twitter. And what irked me was, this definitely. I'm sure, obviously, this doesn't really affect the viewership or whatever, but it's definitely not a good look for the game when you have your first pick, the classic, or maybe it's a second. I can't recall if it was on ESPN last year, but you have it in a major market on a national audience in the US and North America and all of that, and then this happens. It's definitely yeah, that kind of
Yeah.
irked me as well. That it's not a
Yeah,
good look for the game or the league.
yeah. See,
Yeah.
the thing is, as a Dortmund fan, I believe that if we would have lost, suppose, without the refereeing controversies and all, then yes, we should have discussed. Yes, we lost by gifting those two unnecessary individual goals and all. But in the end, like the refereeing was too harsh on us.
Yeah.
Maybe we deserve to get at least a point. We were sure of that before that penalty. If not win, we were sure of getting a draw. We were
Well,
that
Okay.
confident.
Dortmund also didn't capitalize on a lot of its chances that you guys
Chances.
got. So
Yes,
there is a
yes,
bit of
yeah.
that, to be fair. But yeah, eventually I also thought that the fair result for this game should have been a draw and points shared.
Okay. Now let's talk about the consequences of the game. So obviously, going into this, you were what a point. I mean, Shezad, like Bayern was a point ahead, but this 3 points that you've managed to grab against Dortmund, how crucial is it? Because you've had some surprising losses in the season, and I can foresee that this probably won't be like it won't be a rare instance that you will probably lose a couple of points to some of the other teams in the Bundesliga throughout the season as Nagelsmann starts tampering and tinkering with the squad a little more. But this game, how crucial is it in that title challenge or whatever the title run that you're going for?
See, you can never not call a win against Dortmund crucial. The 3 points
Yeah.
I mean, it's always led for us to, win the Bundesliga in a way. However, I will say this season is a bit different. The vibe's a bit different, and there are multiple reasons for it. A, because, if you look at our games coming up before the winter break, we're playing Barcelona in the Champions League, which I know, a lot of the Twitterati or FD, as you call it, is taking it very lightly. But I don't foresee that being an easy contest. Secondly, keeping aside the Champions League, if you look at the Bundesliga, I believe we are playing Mainz and we're playing Wolfsburg. I'm not sure about the home and away equation, but either way, I'm sure it's a split. Now the problem is, so first of all, Mainz, I believe, just beat Wolfsburg again yesterday, or again, I could be getting the teams mixed up, but Mainz is not an easy team to. Bayern has found them a bit difficult in the recent past, and Wolfsburg, they're inconsistent, but you never know when they turn up against a Bayern. So
Yeah.
you know,
I think you're playing both of them at home, but you've got a Stuttgart away game in between that. So yeah.
Okay, I may have missed that. Now, the fundamental problem I have in not being comfortable with this 4 point lead is I believe the style of play that we've had has been absolute garbage. And I've been very vocal about it on Twitter
Yeah.
as well. And the idea, see, here's my problem. And this goes back to a conversation I've had with Mr. Warrior Basti, who's also a frequent visitor on your podcast. But
Yeah.
essentially, I think he put this in a very eloquent way. He said that, Bayern is trying to unlock a problem that isn't there. And this goes back to our Hansi Flick days when we were playing very direct football. And, I may make a statement on here that might be a bit controversial. A lot of people on Twitter might disagree with this. And I really could care less if they do. But there was a misnotion or a I think there's a false narrative out there that under Hansi Flick we were defensively unstable. And I get where this is coming from because we did give up a
Yeah.
lot of goals last season. But if you really look at Hansi's tenure, when we needed to clamp down and win the big game, we won them, with a margin of 1-0. So I can tell you 3 games off the top of my head. So I remember the game against Dortmund post-COVID, against Leipzig post the international break, which won us the league 2 seasons ago, last season. And we also beat PSG in the return leg 1-0, which wasn't an easy feat because we were missing Lewandowski
And
and
the
Gnabry.
final.
So yeah. So there, no, I'm not talking about the final. Sorry,
No, no.
that is when I'm talking about last season's return leg, right? And I mentioned
Right.
that
Yeah.
there is a misnotion out there that, oh, we were defensively messed up. Yes, we gave up a lot of goals, but you have to look at the context of each game. Now, the problem I have with this narrative is because this was then kind of propagated for, a Julian Nagelsmann or Julian Nagelsmann coming in. And, I remember Brazo, our sporting director or whatever designation he holds now, coming in and saying that, oh, we need tactical fluidity. And when I
Yeah.
read that statement, I kind of just, I kind of cringed because I said, well, I mean, Nagelsmann is a great manager, don't get me wrong. And I want him to succeed at Bayern. He's a great young German manager. All of that is great. But I just kind of cringed because I sensed that, why try and fix something that really isn't
Wasn't.
broken? And that's what I think initially he kind of played a similar system to last season, but slowly I've seen them evolving into what is this weird 3-man backline. And I kind of get that people like talking ill talking about they like shit talking about Upamecano and Pavard, and rightfully so. But I also feel like a lot of these issues are stemming from the formation and the system that we play.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. And we'll definitely have to look into that a little more closer. But Pratik, let's talk about Dortmund. An opportunity missed, of course, because
Yes.
Bayern are now 4 points clear. But given the talk of, you mentioned earlier on that, despite what's happening in the Champions League, but let's talk about, so whatever's happening in the Champions League has happened. You're out of the Champions League. I think you're in Europa, whatever.
Yeah, we have to play a qualifier for that also due to the new conference
Even
league
better.
introduction.
Yeah, great. So, but that, the fact that you're not in the Champions League, maybe you've got the Europa that you want to focus on, but does that sort of help you focus more on the league? Because Bayern are definitely going to have Champions League games, the tougher games going into round of 16 and all of that. And so do you think that you should try and the problem with Dortmund is they've not been able to capitalize when Bayern have kind of made their mistakes over the past few seasons.
In the recent seasons, yes.
Exactly.
Okay,
so can this be a change that, you've seen Bayern drop points in the league? They're going to have a even more tougher fixture list once January comes around, and once Champions League, the next sort of round of fixtures get around. So all of that being said,
okay, so yes, one thing I concluded was positive from the yesterday's game, despite defeat, that we played excellently with with a winning kind of mentality, and we look like we are definitely gunning for the title. But there is a misconception, specifically among the outsiders, like those who don't follow Bundesliga, that Bayern versus Dortmund usually decide the games. No, it's not. Not at least the first round. It is not decided no matter what the result is. When you play games against Mainz, Cologne, like when Werder Bremen was there, let's say Werder Bremen, Hertha Berlin away. Those games decide the league. I am telling from a perspective of a Dortmund fan, because we have slipped up points against them. And I can give a recent example of Lucien Favre. We were 9 points clear in the winter break, but then we slipped up, not in the DFB Pokal, but also against Hertha, Frankfurt, Freiburg. Freiburg are our sort of bogey team. We already lost against them. So we have to win those games, because the reason Bayern win those Bundesliga, because they win those games which they are expected to win, or they are favorites to win.
Yeah.
And we unnecessarily drop points
even in the Premier League and even in the big leagues, right? The number of big teams are so fewer compared to the number of small teams. So if you manage to beat the smaller teams and then sort of get decent results with the big teams, you're guaranteed to at least, I'm not saying win the title, but you're guaranteed to at least challenge for it.
Yes.
So
if you tell that to Arsenal or Tottenham fans, because that's all that's what they hope for.
That's what they hope for. But at least decent. When I say decent results against the big team, I didn't mean like 4-0 thrashings and 3-0 thrashings and all that.
No, result-wise, we are basically suffering the same problem which like Klopp at Liverpool used to face during his first 2 seasons, I guess. They also used to lose against smaller teams in February and all. And then they eventually improved. So we have to win against those teams.
You happy with Rosa with the job that he's doing so far?
Oh, we are definitely happy. Like,
Okay.
I can give you the example of Leipzig. They had almost a fully fit squad almost every match, and like their manager is sacked. Jesse Marsh is sacked,
Is
and
he sacked?
Rose.
I thought he's rumored to
Yes,
be
yes,
sacked.
he's sacked, and
Well,
his
not
assistant will
only
be interim manager.
no, sorry, I just wanted to make a funny quip. Not only is he sacked, but now Manchester United fans are hoping that he's hired on as an assistant to Ralph Rangnick and he can take over the squad next season, which I kind of hope
Yeah.
for because that would extend the misery if you ask me. But
I mean,
anyways,
Ragnick's anyway not going to stay. He's already signed a thing to be a, like I said, a
Consultant.
consultant or
no,
an
no, so
advisor.
that's what I meant. That
Oh,
United fans want him to be an assistant to Ragnick this season, so he can take over next season. I, for one, would like to see that because
yeah,
I don't see that ending too well. So
yeah. Even I don't. But anyway, yeah.
Yes, so Marco Rose, despite our 3-4 players being injured, he managed to he managed to take us to this point.
Yeah.
Yes, he didn't get to play his favored pressing tactic fully yet, but I guess our players are coming back. Reina will come back, I guess, next year or in the maybe last 1 or 2 matches before the winter break. So yes, we are getting there. And Marco Rose, I would say, I'm not comparing him to Klopp, but he is giving those Klopp-like vibes in the dressing room. He is
Okay.
cheerful, he's animated, fans are happy with him.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
he's definitely he's sort of being missed at Gladbach where they're suffering quite a bit. They got thrashed today by
yeah,
Freiburg,
they are
so it's
6-0.
crazy.
6-0.
Yeah,
five goals in 25 minutes. Can I add something to
yeah.
what
Go ahead.
Pratik was saying about Dortmund? Because I do, I mean, listen, they're rivals, but I do admire Dortmund as a club as well. I personally feel that, first of all, Marco Rosa has done a good job, a very solid job. And the other thing I would also say is that this isn't entirely his squad, right? Like he's
Yeah,
inheriting a squad from, essentially Lucien Favre, who I absolutely detested. I thought the man was a fraud. A good manager. I know I'm exaggerating a bit, but I think in the key moments, he wasn't a championship winning, manager that Dortmund should be looking for. Now, having said that, I also feel like part of the reason why Dortmund has suffered is, I think Pratik made a good point earlier, right? That both the defenses in this game were terrible. And I think part of the reason is there's a lack of a pressing game in the midfield. Now, with us, it's weird because obviously we've missed Kimmich. And honestly,
yeah,
that's another problem with Nagelsmann's formation is that, or style of play, is that I've seen a lack of pressing or it's totally disappeared from the Hansi Flick days. But I see the same thing with Dortmund, and that's why you have this huge vacuum in the midfield that results in pressure on the defense, on Akanji and Hummels. And Hummels is obviously much older, so not the paciest of defenders. Anyways, the point I'm making is that I think Marco Rosa should be given an extended period of time. And I think, listen, I wish Haaland stays in the Bundesliga, but I don't see that happening.
yeah.
I think this might be the season or post the season where they should move on from him because his injuries or whatever's been going on with his squad muscle or whatever, and his potential sales, I think they might have been a bit of a distraction for Dortmund during this Champions League run. So I feel like, and here's the thing, right? Under normal circumstances, I would say, and by normal circumstances, I mean pre-COVID times.
Yeah,
I'd say that Dortmund could perhaps, kind of just sacrifice the Europa League and focus on winning the Bundesliga. But I feel like they need all the revenue they could
revenue.
potentially get. So all of a sudden, the Europa becomes additionally important.
True,
And
true.
I feel like, what, take this season. Of course, you still, if I'm Marco Royce, I'm pissed off. And if I'm Marco Rosa, I'm pissed off as well, and all of that. And you still want to beat Bayern and win the league. But I would also kind of look at a pseudo rebuild. I would try and focus more on a Jude Bellingham, etc., and all the younger talent that you have, and look at this as a pseudo rebuild and come back stronger for next season. Would be, if I were a Dortmund fan, that's what I would be kind of looking at.
Right. Awesome. All right. So I
Yes.
guess that's all the time, though. Okay, go
Yes,
ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
yes, I actually agree on what Shezad said. Yes, like our sustainable model is like that. That like eventually at some point, if not next year, maybe there's a talk going on that that we should persuade him to leave for one more year.
Yeah,
Maybe let him go 2023, like in Sancho's way. I guess he signed a 1 year extension and then he left a year later. Yes, but yes. So and we should bring build a team around like 4 5 players, which will potentially stay for longer. Like which looks like Jude Bellingham. He is loving it. He is feeling it at home. And Gio Reyna, he will be also staying here for a while. I don't see him going anywhere in the next at least 2 3 years. And yes, so we should build a team around 4 or 5 players. And yes, in the Haaland's absence, barring the Champions League, we have managed to garner some wins, if not convincingly, but we grinded towards them. So yes, it was also a test for us that how we perform even without Haaland. And thankfully, Milan found his form at the right time. So let's hope to see he keeps on maintaining that form.
Great. Awesome. All right. So I guess we have to call it a timeout. And that's about it for this particular episode. So thank you, Shezad and Pratik, for coming on to this podcast, giving your thought on this very, very exciting thriller of a Klassiker. Hopefully we have more such games, and I can't wait to host you in the near future, whether it be for similar such podcasts or our longer podcasts or a watch along as well, whether it be for Dortmund or for Bayern Munich. So thank you, and I can't wait to host you for the return leg as well.
It was a good first experience. Yes, and yes, I'm proud to be a Bundesliga fan. Yes, we talk not like enemies or ultras in the Syria.
No, it's always, I think Praddy's podcast is always fun to be on. So thanks for having us, Praddy. And I know Julian Nagelsmann listens to your podcasts.
Yes, I know.
I just want to send a message to him that, listen, buddy, just get your formation right and fix this. Otherwise, it's not going to end up well for you at Bayern. So, I wish him all the success, but that's going to be one storyline if you're watching Bayern games as a fan or as a neutral observer. Just keep an eye out for that because, I know a lot of people have talked about Kimmich not being there, but Kimmich was struggling early in the season too. So just keep an eye out for the formation and how it plays out.
All right. Yeah, great. I mean, I know that he listens to that's the only one person that listens from the from the Munich area. I was about to say Leipzig, then I realized that he's no longer there. But yeah, from the Munich area.
I think you should tag him when you post this, this podcast. So
yeah, definitely. Awesome. So thanks, guys. And thank you to those of you listening to this podcast. Whether you're listening to this on the audio podcast, then you can go check out our previous episodes on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, you name it, we're probably there. And if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, so that means you're a member. So go get your friends to check out the membership program that we have, or a patron program. We've got different tiers with different benefits. This video version is only available for members. So go check that out there. You can different benefits. We got different tiers. This is available for all members as well. And I'll catch you all on the next episode of the MWF. But until then, I'm your host, Praddy, once again. You stay safe and see you.